Hello and welcome back to Logistics Tech Conference, transforming Indian logistics via technology, presented by IAMAI and Here Technologies, powered by Pando Corporation, brought to you by Grey Orange, and supported by LSC. We would like to thank our registration partner, MapMy India, CX partner Zendex, session partner Shiplight, silver partner Fretron, knowledge partner Supply Chain Labs, and Industry PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My name is Sri Raj Deshmukh, and I will be your host for this session. We are now moving on to our next session on digital transformation in shipping. How efficient is the IoT technology? I would like to introduce you to the speaker of this session, Mr. Girish Surpur, who is the Deputy General Manager at NEC India Logistics. I would request Mr. Girish to take over from here and kickstart this session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for the introduction. So, very good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are doing great and healthy. My name is Girish, and I head the logistics business for NEC Corporation India. For giving us the opportunity to come and present our views basis the experience we have been able to gather in working along with the lines and the maritime agencies. So before I move on to the topic which has been interested on to us, I'd quickly like to give a brief overview of our organization. If you can move to the next slide, please. Yeah. So we are a subsidiary of NEC Corporation Japan. Next slide, please. Yeah. So NEC Corporation Japan is a company which was inaugurated in 1899. So it's a legacy of 120 years of work, or rather being leaders in the space of information and technology. In terms of our technical capabilities, well, we are globally number one in the space of face recognition, fingerprint and iris recognition. The Aadhaar card biometric engine, well, we are the ones who have been able to ensure that of the more than 100 crore of population, how the accuracy of the systems can be maintained. NEC primarily looks into a lot of creating the different kind of patents. Approximately, we have 47,000 patents. And there's a lot of focus in terms of R&D, what using which we have been able to create the best of the art solutions for the customers across the globe. There is also a lot of focus in terms of how do we address the climate changes, make a positive impact on a continual basis, how we will be able to address the CO2 emissions across the whole supply chain. Next slide, please. We can skip this slide. It just showcases our presence, wherein we are present in more than 50 countries and have 300 group companies. Well, when it comes to NEC, if you look at it from satellites to submarines and everything in between, that is something which showcases the overall depth of what as NEC we have been doing across the globe. In terms of creating next generation technologies for the space of communication, energy, retail, water supply, cabling, roads. So the list is endless. This is where we have been able to establish ourselves as pioneers in the space of information technology. Next, please. Well, talking about NEC Corporation India, well, we are present with over 70 years of business experience in India. Currently, our strength is more than 6,000 employees with the partner companies of Netcracker, Rave Technologies, and Nitio. We're a CMM level 5 company, and with the kind of quality basis, the kind of parent organization where we belong to, there is always a strong emphasis on Kaizen or a continuous improvement, which we always focus upon. In terms of the different businesses, what we are catering in India, it's primarily across the enterprise sectors in the space of manufacturing, retail, finance, healthcare, public safety, logistics and transportation. And also some of our key technology offerings have been in the space of IoT, AI, big data, ERP, and automations. I'll touch base some of these technologies as and when I go through the next course of our presentation. Just a slide on what has been our contribution to Indian society. Well, if you look at the different, we have been actively involved in working as the master system integrator for the smart cities. namely the Saranpur, Thiruvananthapuram, Gurgaon Manesar, and KDMC smart cities. Aadhaar registration, as I began with, 1.3 million number of people registered. There is a strong focus on bus rapid transit system. We already are the ones who have been managing it in Ahmedabad, Surat, Pune, Hubli, Dharwad. Financial services, so digitizing for the rural society. This is where we are the third largest shareholder of the Common Service Center. This is the kind of technology and the leadership we have in space of fingerprints, biometrics, and iris. We are very much strong in the across the area of national security, and also the infrastructure. Submarine cable, Chennai Andaman Nicobar Island. This is the latest one which we have been able to successfully deliver. Next, please. So I'd like to talk about one of our signature project which has actually helped us work closely along with not only with the various ministries in India, but along with the different stakeholders in the space of shipping, port terminals, freight station, depots, and all. So the name of our project is Logistics Data Bank Project. It primarily provides a single window for handling or providing visibility of nations' export-import container movement. We commenced the operation across JNPT in 2016, and as of now, we are present pan-India with the coverage of 33 million container, wherein we have provided visibility as on date. One of our salient offering in this space is with the kind of historical data what we have been able to gather for 5 years now. There is a lot of predictability what we have been able to bring in. Further, our monthly analytical reports does a lot of performance benchmarking, which helps in identification of which are the ports which are doing better, which are the ones which are average, and which are the ones whose performance needs to be enhanced. Reports like the dwell time on a regional basis, on a pan-India basis, the congestion analysis, all these customized reports are being shared to the trade on a month-on-month basis, and each of them have been utilizing them to the best of their abilities in terms of both process efficiencies, cost optimization, and also looking at what are the best practices which needs to be incorporated. Next, please. So this has been our coverage I just mentioned with 100% port coverage, 58 plus toll plazas. We also have a EDI integration with Indian Railway system and all the 26 port terminals, and we have a steady infrastructure of passive RFID readers and tags. There are more than 1500 plus currently which we have deployed on a pan-India basis. Next, please. Just a slide on, next, please. What has been our value-added offerings, or what has been our focus at this point of time? Well, by virtue of associating with various such agencies, we do understand that moving towards bringing in efficiency through the Office of Digital India and various other initiatives what government is doing, it is very important for the port, shipping lines, and each and every one, as and when the volume is increasing, to optimize the warehouse management system, effectively look into how yards can be managed, smart yards. We are talking about smart ports, though there are globally many references what we have in terms of the technology adoption, where we stand at this point of time, and what is the roadmap we need to carve for ourselves to reach there. Gate operating system to actually reduce the kind of time which is spent out there across the gate, reduce the congestion, increase the efficiencies, look into how we can improve India's rating in logistics performance index and other parameters. Then there are other offerings like the damage and dent detection, the smart video analytics solution, which actually tells you in case of any breach of compliance and all. And there can be multiple use cases which can be customized to the nature of the customer. So this is a very broad level offering of ours, but we being a technology company, we work closely with the customer and develop customized offerings which cater to their business in terms of generating an ROI in due course of time. Next, please. Okay, so this is the topic which we got today, that digital transformation in shipping and how efficient is the IoT technology. Well, to begin with, we all understand that ships today are becoming highly sensorized, and shipping companies have more data than ever about the day-to-day operations. Well, while we do talk of this, collecting the sensor data is not something which is very new across the maritime transport. However, when we talk of the global ship-to-shore connectivity, which is further enabled by a safe and secure connections, that makes it possible to kind of gather data from an array of onboarded sensors and how you effectively distribute across your entire logistics network. So yeah, please be on this slide, please. If you can go a bit up. Okay, so as we have clearly showcased here, ship-to-shore connectivity, this has catapulted to the center of modern shipping, and there is a world of opportunities which probably most of the companies today are looking forward to. Well, at least to begin with, some of the key IoT offerings, what one discusses, at least at the initial stage, is how do I effectively track my vessel? Or is there some kind of way I would be able to do a predictive maintenance in terms of control? There are many guidelines which have been laid by international maritime organizations. What is the supply chain visibility, and also with the nature of work, how the health of the workers can be effectively catered to? So there are multiple use cases also in this regard. In subsequent slides, I'll just touch base upon them. But other than that, we also would like to focus on the advancement in operational performance and safety. Well, this is primarily more to do with the proactive maintenance, so that real-time issues can be pinpointed and potential failures can be avoided to ensure continuous and optimal machinery. And this not only reduces the costly downtime, but also from a safety perspective of a crew, it's very much essential. Then there are areas like optimizing voyage planning and fuel consumption. It is very much understood that fuel costs account for 50 to 60% of the operating cost of the ship, depending upon which ship and service. And all these sensors, monitoring equipment which are on board can keep collecting the data and send it to the main office or a head office onshore, wherein there can be the different teams and subject matter experts who which will help them in doing a kind of route optimization, which is the most energy efficient route and other aspects in this regard. Also identifying what is the optimal speed and the configuration of engine for each leg. It helps in saving a lot of fuel and cost, and also lower the carbon emissions. Other than that, well, definitely harnessing the full potential of data is required for more effective operations and decision making. Optimizing and streamlining each and every aspect of operations at sea. And these are some of the initial level of engagements what we are having whenever discuss with any shipping lines. But nevertheless, when the world is heading towards creation of smart ports with digital twins, connected ports, autonomous shipping, this is something, at least from an Indian context, we think that it is the right time for us to kind of focus our energies towards this and see that how we rise up to the occasion, and in couple of years time are able to stand tall with the likes of Port of Rotterdam and other ports. Next slide, please. Some of the immediate opportunities wherein we think that shipping lines are currently focusing upon. One is the cargo tracking, end-to-end supply chain solutions with all the information pertaining to the settlement data, shippers, ports, and partners. As of now, there one of the challenge which we have encountered or heard people say is waiting hours for a confirmation after online booking. That can be taken care of. The return on investment or how effectively your container is utilized, that becomes another advantage. Also, there are certain areas like automatic settlement, wherein based on IoT triggers, for example, a cargo has been delivered to a client with no damage, with the sensor alerts using like water, humidity, and all. So there is no manual intervention, and also the systems can keep continuously learning and enhancing their performance, say from 85 to 95 to 99.9. So that's how all these systems are evolving. Then there is a talk of the transformation of trade insurance as a whole. So insurance triggering agents can be pinpointed, like for example, if there is an iPhone shipment, did it get wet at the originating port, at the sea, or loaded onto the truck, or final delivery? So having a clear onus on ownership and accountability is something which will be very useful to the stakeholders. Finally, the smart ports, we spoke a bit about it, that especially Rotterdam port, since it's a model port for smart ports, they intend to have host connected ships by 2025. And there is a lot of focus on data at this point of time. And there is also a lot of strong emphasis that even if the shipping companies and ports, they save 1 hour in berthing time, it translates to 80,000 USD in savings for ship operators, and enables the port to dock more ships each day. So that's how the technology will kind of empower all these different businesses. Next, please. Okay, so there are multiple companies today working or trying to leverage upon the need of the hour, and they have been able to address some of the at least initial challenges which the lines are facing. Like for example, there are organizations which are monitoring uh, to improve emission monitoring. There are gas analytic tools which can actually smell if the ship's engine is not operating correctly. So this gives a lot of early information to the engineers towards malfunctioning equipment, and also enables them to carry out maintenance and repair work. So a lot of disasters can also be averted. A lot of cost saving can be done. Then there are multiple kind of other sensors with respect to vibration, sound, and temperature. And these kind of data, whenever it is being fed into continuous diagnostic platform, which also couples with the usage of machine learning, this translates raw data into actionable insights, and also real-time alerts and reports can be provided. Also, as we earlier discussed, working at sea for long periods can definitely be detrimental to health of the people on board. A combination of long working hours, you have not that good diet, lack of exercise. So there are major health challenges which people face. So there are companies who have come up with wearable device which actually monitor the vital parameters, and in case of any kind of deviation or any alerts, it can actually be detected much early. Also, there can be customized diet and other plans which can be kind of provided to these people who are on board. Next slide, please. Okay, so before we move on to the conclusion, there are when we discuss with shipping line, apparently there are two ways how companies are looking at it. Either there is a return on investment, which definitely will be something they will be looking forward to, but at this point of time, it is more towards regulatory compliance, what it is required for. But eventually, I think the full term and long term benefits can only be realized once you go through the initial phase of implementation, and then kind of working coordination with your handshaking points as well. Because we do understand that in a country like India, it's not just you who have to scale up, digitize, automate, and adopt the best of practices. It's also your immediate and the next level of vendors, partners, and other ecosystem who together compounded can help, or rather result in yielding much better results. Well, there are many focus from the IMO in terms of the sulfur content of emissions and all. And also there is a plan by IMO that how by 2050 they can have the greenhouse gas emissions. So there are both requirements. One is the regulatory picture, and then it is coupled with a growing business for better visibility of operations. So together it makes a natural and a technological investment for ship owners and operators around the world to adopt the technology on an urgent basis and kind of reap the benefits. So I tried to cover it much earlier than the allotted time. And in case if there are any queries, I'll be happy to address. first query which I received was, is there an oil leak or any other unforeseeable circumstances? Well, definitely yes. There are sensors, there are smell sensors along with the predictive maintenance and the IoT, which continuously not only just keeps monitoring but also learns in due course of time. These sensors also help in detecting if there is any malfunctioning, and advanced notifications and alerts can be generated, which kind of helps in terms of taking care of such kind of issues. The second question, to avoid, what are the ports and ships required to enable to have the effective usage of IoT? Well, we just covered on the various areas wherein probably they can actually look into implementation of IoT. It can be as simple as just a tracking and booking, settlement and trade insurance, or it can be something as advanced as a smart ports wherein you actually looking at automating and having a layer of artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain incorporated, so that not only will it have a seamless connectivity, but also you can ensure that the compliance engine is also built into it, so that not only just in the area or across a particular region, you can also have intelligence developed for if a ship is going from country A to country B, what are the kind of norms, what are the kind of compliances out there which needs to be catered to in terms of optimization and betterment of the lead time. Okay, one of the question which I'm seeing is that the further push from the government, does the shipping industry design? Well, in terms of the policy formulations, I think like the digital India vision, what we have, India has established that there is a kind of strong requirement to speedily digitize your enterprises across sectors and unlock the next level of economic growth there. It is only natural for ports to be digitized and ready for the future. If I have to sum it up, like, it is more of the first mover advantage, but the first mover today is thinking that it's going at this pace, and all the different stakeholders today are working in a different plane. They are kind of having apprehensions with respect to how much will be the time and all. So companies like us are currently collaborating with the agencies in the government, as well as working with some ports and shipping lines in terms of seeing that is there a kind of model port we'll come up with and showcase the benefits it can be offered India as a whole. And then once you have a successful case study, probably that gives a lot of confidence to other players to kind of come in and adopt these best practices. Because right now it is always about what is the cost involved and when will be the break-even point for me to kind of achieve the benefits. The first question I missed, I'm sorry, but by when can we expect a wide adoption of IoT in shipping, especially in the Indian context? Well, if you look at it, logistics sector as a whole is evolving. The kind of impetus, the kind of policy formulations and other kind of focus the Indian government is providing to this sector, we think that with the right set of people coming on board and drawing the anchor set of customers, it should happen by 2025. We should be able to do there, if not completely, at least a few smart ports is where we should be there and working in collaborations with various shipping lines and addressing the challenges. I think I have addressed all the questions, albeit at a very faster pace. In case if required, kindly write to us. We will send in we'll send in the detailed response for each and every of your queries. In the interest of time, probably it doesn't give me enough ammo to kind of address it line by line. If there are any questions, then fine. Else, I'd like to thank you all for hearing me out. And in case if there are any further questions, please share it with us. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an engaging presentation. And a special thanks to you for being here and making this possible today. And another thank you goes out to all our attendees who are here today with us. And thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back in a few minutes with the next session, and please stay tuned.
Thank you.